I have been wanting a fruit orchard for a very long time. And I've been working on plans for it, trying to figure out which trees, where they would go. If you've watched this channel, you've heard me talk about it and maybe even tease it out a little bit. Well, this is the year I start my fruit orchard. You can see here some of the plans that I've been working on, and I had a couple more trees than expected, so I had to figure out where they were going to go. They ended up somewhere unexpected, and in the end, I love where they are and what they do with the landscape. For this round of trees, we got 11 trees. We opted for ones that were a little older, so 3 to 5 years old, so they would be a little bigger. They came as whips. Most of them were bare root, so we wanted to get them in the ground as soon as we could to get their roots growing. And here is a look at the unexpected place where we ended up putting trees. This is the giant sugar maple, and she is so lovely. And now she has some friends. So watch and join me as I take you through what it was like planting these. All right, I have a 2-foot by 2-foot square outlined here with a mark for center and a flag. And over here, I have a 2-foot by 2-foot, not quite 2 feet, or maybe 2 feet deep hole with some rocks. And there's another one over here. And I've got some piles of dirt, soil. I don't know, it's kind of dirt. And this hole's in progress. So I won't subject you to the noisy auger for very long. But we rented this auger. It did a pretty good job. You can see our holes are bigger than the auger, so we needed to make several holes to get the right size. But this thing was invaluable. It was a lot of work digging these holes, and I don't think that we could have done it without this auger. So let me tell you a little bit about this site. This is where the driveway used to go. It used to wrap all the way around the house. And the previous owners took out parts of it. But this area is very compacted and also has a lot of gravel that would have been the base for the driveway when it was originally installed. So the digging here is pretty hard, and the soil is really not that great. I think we're looking at one of the better holes here. One of the reasons I hadn't considered this site before was the shade coming off of the big sugar maple. But I was able to position these trees out from underneath the canopy enough that they will get plenty of sun. I did spend a couple of days watching the sun cross this area, and it is a really good location for them. In this location, we have 4 trees, 2 apples, and 2 filberts or hazelnuts. You can see here in this picture, we've got 3 of them planted, and we're still waiting on 1 to go in this first hole here, the hole closest to us. One of the things that we did was water the hole once we got it dug, and then position the tree, filling in some dirt around the roots in the right places, and then we filled it about halfway with soil, and then watered it again, and then filled it the rest of the way with soil and gave it a nice deep soak. This is a look at some of the tools that we used. I have to tell you that small shovel with the black handle is really handy. And the red shovel, red plastic kid's snow shovel, was like the best thing for scooping dirt. This is the sugar maple here. And you can see, again, this is another view of the trees. There'll be a little bit of a pathway that sort of runs through the middle of them. So that'll be kind of nice. You have here the 4th tree that we put in. So they're all planted now, and we got them in just as it was starting to rain. So this is the west triangle. It's the sort of street front area between the street and the front of the house. This is where I had always planned to have a fruit orchard, as where you saw in the plans earlier in this video. So I have room down here for maybe 9 trees. So right now, I think we're planting 6. So 2 or 3 more trees, I think, down here in upcoming purchases. So again, we're doing the same kind of thing with the 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot holes. So the roots have lots of nice soft dirt to spread out into. We are amending the dirt with a little bit of coco coir, just to kind of help keep it loose, and, give it that extra organic matter. There's another one. These trees that are down here are pears, peaches, and plums. In the future, I think we might also have a couple of cherries and maybe another plum. We'll find out. We'll figure that out. And you can see we've already started to water this one. It is New England, so there's lots of rocks in everything. The soil down here is really great. It holds some moisture. It's on a slope, so it doesn't hold too much moisture, and it's good, rich soil. This area gets pretty much good full sun until very late in the afternoon. So it's protected a little bit from the harshest summer sun in the late afternoon, but I should get some protection from the winds in winter, which is good. Right behind where I'm standing now is the crabapple. We're putting in some stakes here so we have a little bit of extra support for the trees. And we have large gauge hardware cloth that we will put around sort of in a 3-foot circle or something to keep the deer off during the winter. And here they are, planted and ready to grow. From the street, which is where I'm walking right now, these, when they've grown some, will provide a bit of a screen between the street and the front of the house until you get past the trees a little bit. And I tried to make it so that none of them really lined up exactly in rows, so they were all a little bit offset from each other. Gives it a little bit more of a natural feel. And I made room for my sort of curvy S path that I would like to build into this area. So you're sort of walking among the trees as you go along that path. I have another video on that. We're walking up here. This is the front driveway up to where the sugar maple is and the other 4 trees. And these trees here are going to create a bit of a screen, again, from the street to the very backyard. And that will create a bit of a room back here beyond these trees. And again, I didn't want any of these to line up exactly. But there will be a sort of a meandering path that goes in between. And there's the big beauty. Isn't she just lovely? I love this tree. So I'm on the other side. There's the tree from the side. I'm on the other side of this sort of room back here. This is the north end of the house. We've got the woods on the right and the house on the left from this vantage point, and you can see the 4 trees over there in the distance. As they grow, they will give this space here a bit more of a feeling of enclosure. You can see over there on the left bottom corner the little tops of ferns. That's going to be a much deeper garden bed. And then off to the right, you can see where the woods are. And I've begun to build a bit of a garden bed over there. It's sort of deep up from the woods with a swath of grass in the middle. Where I'm walking here, I'm walking about on what will probably be the edge of the deep garden bed off the house. And then you will see the trees there as they grow, sort of stopping the visual flow across the space. This tree right here in the cage, right here in the foreground, is a Japanese maple. And then here are the 4 trees up at the top. And I'll look down the driveway towards the street. So let's talk trees. What are these trees that we got? So we have 2 hazelnut or filbert trees. I'm looking at one right here. You can see it's got some buds on it. This is a cassina. I think that's how you say it, filbert tree. The cassina gets to be about 15 to 18 feet tall and 12 to 16 feet wide. It produces nice big fruits, big hazelnuts, and ripens in about August. The Lewis filbert hazelnut is a little bit smaller. It grows to be about 10 to 15 feet tall and wide, and also comes ripe in August, early to mid-August. This is a Grand Gala apple. It is a semi-dwarf in size, so it gets to be about 12 to 15 feet tall and wide. It is a sweet apple. Apparently they're slightly bigger than your regular Gala. Here we have a Myra red Fuji apple. You can see it came with some flowers already on it, which was really exciting to see. Nice to have those little flowers. They won't make any fruit this year, but they're certainly pretty. This one is a dwarf size, so it gets to be about 8 to 10 feet tall and wide. These apples are sweet and crisp and are a good all-around apple. And here they are, those 4 trees under the canopy of the big sugar maple. It's a nice picture, framing the lovely grand old lady. So let's turn now and head down the front driveway and take a look at the orchard down here in the West Triangle. And turning to look back up the hill from the bottom of the driveway, you can see the trees in the distance at the top. Taking a bit of a closer look here now, we're going to walk back up, and I want to go in from the top of the S-curving path that wraps around the back of the crabapple tree. You can see I've got some spots still available for other trees that we don't have yet. But we're just going to go up here and join up with the top of the path. Oof, I need to mow. I'm really excited about this path. It swoops along in between the trees. There's a nice shady area here, and this is like a mat of Canada Mayflower. And we're basically walking around the backside of that crabapple you could see right there, and you'll come out and have a nice view of the fruit orchard. And the path will continue to swoop along towards this tree here, and then it'll turn and head back down. You can see there's a group of 3 flags right there. That's for a different tree, one I don't have yet. But let's take a look at the ones that I do have. So this is a standard size plum. It's a Santa Rosa. Its full size will be 18 to 20 foot tall and wide. It's known for its dark red color, yellow flesh, and sweet and slightly tart flavor. If you look here, you can see there's 3 flags grouped together. I had intended on putting maybe a single cherry tree there, but I actually think I'm going to do one on either side of that spot. So that would be 2 small dwarf-sized cherries, I believe, cultivated cherries. You can see a grouping of 3 flags over in the distance there, and there's another grouping just up the hill of 3 flags there. That's spots for an American plum and a black cherry. Those are both native tree species. This is a Red Haven peach. It's a semi-dwarf size. That's 12 to 15 feet tall and wide. It's a medium-sized, yellow-fleshed peach. Up next, we have the Anjou pear. This is a semi-dwarf. It gets to be about 12 to 15 feet high, but not quite as big. It's got a bit more columnar shape. so it'll be about 9 to 11 feet across. It has a subtly sweet and firm textured fruit that stores really well. This one is another peach. It's a white peach. It came with this beautiful flower. I cannot wait to see its promise in the spring. Donut or Saturn peach. It is a semi-dwarf, so it's 12 to 15 feet tall and wide. They have very nice, lightly sweet fruit, and it is a heavy producer. We're coming up now on the Bartlett pear. It is also a semi-dwarf and has a columnar shape. 12 to 15 feet tall, but only 9 to 11 feet wide. It is a classic pear, great for everything. Fresh eating, baking, canning, what have you. It is just a phenomenal all-around pear. And last in this group, we have a Shiro plum. It is a yellow plum. This will be a standard or full-size tree, 18 to 20 feet. It is a juicy, nectary, yellow plum. Heavy bearing, and it has white blooms. I cannot wait. The smell of plum flowers, it's just my favorite. That's why I wanted plums. Okay, plums are tasty to eat too, but the flowers, so good. And here is a look at all 6 of these beautiful fruit trees. I cannot wait. I'm so excited about this little orchard. So that wraps up this tour of my brand new orchard. I do have one other tree that's not featured here, a Chicago hardy fig. I'm not sure where it's going to go just yet, so we're just going to hang on to that one for another video. Thank you for joining me, and I cannot wait to show you how these grow and update you in the future. Until then, bye!